Welcome back to Lawn Dude Unearth, where we like to dive into whatever topic comes to mind each and every week. Every week we have an installment on mental health because it's important, man. You got to check on your people. You got to check on your people and have your people check on you. It is important, man. It's important to me that we continue to have discussions on mental health because it's just not talked about enough. Now we're going to cue the intro. I like to go ahead and take care of these pleasantries for all those who power Lawn Dude Unearth and help us to bring this content to you each and every week. Now, if you're looking for a high quality, eco conscious apparel that reps your passion for the outdoors, you need to check out Finprint Apparel. And don't forget to use our code, man, DUDE10. Once again, DUDE10 at checkout will save you 10%. Again, that's Finprint Apparel. They will give you a good little splash on your uniforms. If you haven't checked out our video of how different our uniforms are, go check it out right now, either on YouTube or Instagram. Also, I'd like to go ahead and shout out the fact that we're powered by Petra Tools, who is bringing you top-tier equipment to keep your lawn game strong. Whether you need sprayers, various lawn landscape products, or battery-powered solutions, Petra Tools has you covered. And they also have like mulch glue, and they got the lawn paint. They got a little bit of everything, man. Just go check out their website. Support the brands that support us, man. These are the brands that support Lawn Dude Unearth. I like to keep growing as a company, as a podcast. So I definitely have no problem shouting out those who decided to give us the opportunity. And we beyond appreciate it. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? What is going on? Welcome back to Lawn Dude Unearth. First of all, I want to say thank you for deciding to listen to my podcast. For all those who's been listening to me for a while, I beyond appreciate the fact that you guys give me a listen. And you may notice that I didn't drop a podcast last week. So by now you probably saw by the title that was because I was actually having a bout with the vid last week. COVID. So COVID-19 is still out there, man. And this was the second time I've had COVID. Last time I had it was, I want to say it was like 2021, 2022. I know it was in the fall. But the way my body reacts to COVID is the same way it reacted to the vaccine when they first were basically mandating that you get the vaccines back in 2020 when COVID was bad. So what happens to me is I get like hot, cold flashes, headaches. I get really drained. And those who know me know I'm a go-getter. I'm always can barely stay still because I'm always on the move. I'm always hustling. I'm always doing something. So when I get drained like that, yeah, sure, I get that way when I'm real tired. But drained like that is just off. So it was just kind of weird. And then I started getting a sore throat. I thought it was because I slept with the AC unit, the window unit on directed towards me while I was asleep. That's happened a couple times. You wake up with a sore throat. So I ended up taking a test after last week being Labor Day weekend, real time. I had like 7 routes to complete, which means I had to do double routes. It was more than 7 routes because we did 1 Monday, 1 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday. So it was actually 8. It was 8 routes to complete, and I did my double route Wednesday with top. My second route was a top dressing some properties. I was so drained. I'm like, man, am I out of shape or what? Like, this is weird. Like, usually I'm pretty conditioned. Okay, same thing with Thursday. Had a couple shrubs to knock out for the second route. Had a top dressing knockout part of the second round again. Once again, drained. So that night, or that evening when I got in, we decided I should take, a test, a COVID test, and that came back positive. And it showed that our daughter, she had a faint line, meaning she was coming off of it. And I think our son might have popped positive then too. My wife was the only one who was negative. So it's tough, but I work alone. I don't work around anyone. I don't interact close to any clients. So that next day, which was the Friday before Labor Day, I actually had to get up and go to do the Monday route for that Labor Day, because I had been planning to be off for those 3 days, cook out, everything. And needless to say, that didn't happen because that Friday, my son's test actually came back negative. My daughter's negative, wife's still negative, mine's still positive. So I literally went to work, came back in, and that, trust me, working with that for 3 days was tough. Which is another reason why it's great to build systems to where you have help. And trust me, that's something I am looking to do going into next year. But anyways, man, I got back Friday, stayed contained to the room. Saturday it was still showing positive, so I stayed contained to the room. Oh man, same thing. I think Sunday I kind of still had to stay in the room, and then like that night, test was finally showing so negative. So Monday, which was Labor Day, was the one day that I was like out of the self, quarantine, which stunk because I didn't get to enjoy the weekend as I, planned. But it is what it is, God plans everything to go a certain way. So after all of us started to, show negative, my wife showed positive for the test. She had to be on self-quarantine for a couple days this week, and then hers finally showed negative after a couple days. So we went through our bout with that. I'm kind of glad. I mean, if I'm looking at any silver lining, any blessing out of it, I would say is the fact that we've already gotten that out the way as far as like that sickness. And don't get me wrong, I've known plenty of people to get it more than once, like back to back. But it's frustrating because when you're super careful, you try to stay away from people for this reason, you could literally walk into a store where it's an atmosphere or somebody done touched the item that you pick up. There's so many ways that you can contract this. But here's the thing, man. Sometimes, God just has a way of forcing you to slow down. And during that downtime, I started to see things differently. During the time I had to work last week while, fighting off, COVID, got me to see things differently as well. So, when you're sick and you're stuck in, the self-quarantine, it's, you realize real quick what matters most. It's not the schedule, it's not the grind, not even the deadlines, It's family, it's health, it's being present. It's family, it's health, it's being present. So, I had to pause everything, work, podcasts, even some personal goals, just to get better and to keep it 100. Having that little bit of a pause reminded me how blessed I truly am. Too often we focus on what we're missing, what we're chasing, or what's stressing us. But when you're like flat on your back, literally with no energy, you start thanking God for the basics, like breath in your lungs, people checking on you, having food in the house, being able to feed your family. That's what this past week gave me, perspective. Being able to work this week without dealing with, your throat being so sore that every time the air hit it, it was just making it almost impossible to complete work, but I still completed all the routes last week by the grace of God. Being able to do all those jobs this week, without being sick, oh my gosh, it was a new appreciation. I'm out there hearing the birds chirping, just enjoying it. You see what I'm saying? So, if you are in a season where life has slowed you down, maybe through sickness, stress, or just burnout, I want you to remember that it's not always a setback. Sometimes it's just a reset. It's not always a setback. Sometimes it's just a reset. I had to say that twice, for the people in the back that are hard of hearing and need to hear everything twice. Sometimes these key things we got to hear twice, man. So, appreciate the small wins, man. Appreciate the people who show up. Appreciate the fact that you're still here. Gratitude shifts everything. Like it legit does. So yeah, last week I missed an episode. Big deal. But this week, I'm back. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. And more grounded than ever. Let me say that again. More grounded than ever. With nothing but gratitude and knowing that I am blessed. So in this truck talk, man, if this resonated with you, man, share it with somebody. Just a reminder to appreciate the small things. To appreciate those who love on you. And also a reminder to Check on your people, man. Because you got to check on your people. Have your people check on you. That's all I have for this week. Y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Lon Dude on Earth. We talk about all kinds of things here. The good stuff, the tough stuff, and everything in between. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and have a blessed day.